I got through and I beat LDK mode with Vergil in DMC5 SE.
Yeah.
So, minor spoilers if you're going to not want to hear about anything that happens.
For this game's re-release.
Mm-hmm. All right, there you go. So you tune out now. Yeah, so you fucking play through that shit, and it's great. And as I mentioned, your some of your biggest challenges are getting your fucking perfect frame timing on your judgment cuts and everything. But the LDK challenges are, oh man, like there's some rooms they throw at you that are just like, you know what, fuck you. Like, just here's a sea of enemies. You should be able to handle this by now. And for the most part, like, yeah, you can. You've got Vergil has some great crowd control
I imagine it just
abilities.
takes a while.
It takes a while to work at it, but it's also like um there's points where like concentration requires you to stand still and be decisive and move properly. But there's a lot of
Right.
there's a lot of times when you're in such a mob that there's no way to properly see or react to what is coming at you. So staying airborne is a pretty good way of like of staying out of danger in many cases. But yeah, there's a couple rooms where they just throw like I think it was like a six riot room maybe, and it's just like, man, if you thought two was rough, just they're disappearing everywhere. They're fucking furies, not riots, excuse me, furies. Uh they are just fucking like untouchable until they want to be, and if you stop to work on one, the others are maximum spidering your ass around the room, and it just takes patience. It takes fucking precision and patience, and you actually start having to use um the a stat that they put on some of Virgil's moves is slowdown, like a time stagger, right?
Mm-hmm.
It came out in 4SE with the blistering swords that rain down, and yeah, now he's also got it on that new big slow horizontal slice where he like 180s and then puts the blade away. So
Mm-hmm.
you use these abilities and the blistering swords to stop everything, and it does very little damage, but things are stuck in the frozen time as if you hit them with a ragtime,
Mm-hmm.
and that ends up like being works wonders against a bunch of furies at the same time and like things like that. So you got to spend your bar smartly in those crowd situations.
Hey,
Um,
that six fury room. Where is that?
okay, I'm pretty sure if uh it's one of the final Clifod levels
Okay.
where um do you remember the level where you are because they kind of blend together without the
Also, I
cutscenes.
was just wondering because one of the funniest things that I'm thinking of when you're telling me this is the obvious overlap in thought process between the devs of 5SE and Hitchhiker, because Hitchhiker snuck in I think it's a secret encounter into one of the missions in which you have to fight, I think it's 8 Furies
Okay.
in one room.
Okay.
But when I say a room, I mean it is a like 20 by 20 foot room. It is
Okay.
here is a tweet of somebody fucking like flying against it, and it is just absurd. It is
Yeah.
just there's no like those enemies were obviously never designed to be in more than a group of two tops, because the game just starts to fly apart when there are more than that.
So the thing with it, yeah, in this particular room here, you're gonna get it at its worst. You got more room to fight in the actual game proper when it's going down, but it's exactly they're literally teleporting everywhere the entire time, and good luck, survive. You know, if you've got concentration and sin devil trigger meter full, spend it. Just nullify the encounter, right? Like that's kind of what your goal is when you see Fury start popping up, you just go, I'm not fighting this now. I'm just gonna not do it, you know?
I want to hit the win button, please.
And when yeah, I think it's in the mission, it's in the last mission that leads up to the real Urizen fight. So I think it's 16. Okay. And then you get a nice little rhythm of like, okay, so it takes full concentration and full SDT to do those final attacks. But the but it takes it, but it doesn't drain your concentration when you do it. So once you're done with one of those moves, if need be, you can still do World of V, and that'll drain your concentration and like theoretically finish off whatever's straggling, you know. So there's a nice little back and forth. Yeah, you can do. It's fun using World of V in the actual fight against all three when you're making your way through to the top of the Qliphoth.
That doesn't make any sense.
Makes no sense whatsoever, but sure, I'll watch Nightmare punch Nightmare. You know, little mirror battle. It's pretty fun to let that happen.
So Vergil plays through every single level?
Yes.
Does SE have the ability to play like Dante in Nero's missions or vice versa?
Does Dante have the ability to play?
Do you have character select on the other missions?
I've only played Vergil.
Okay. Because
I haven't touched the others.
You know, if they had two other characters in there, Vergil could swap between them for all the respective missions.
So Vergil has the tools to handle each stage on his own as need be without assistance, but I don't know if the other characters have what's needed to get through the like.
I'm just saying, if there was a character that had like a rocket launcher with like a grappling hook.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
And there was a different character that had like Sparta and some of those moves.
Absolutely.
You totally just 1-to-1 them on.
They'd be able to go through the stages on their own, no problem. Yeah, that much is clear. But yeah, when you're like, you know, you're going through that part where it's like, oh, this is where V is supposed to be stumbling emotionally until he can't walk anymore, and he falls in the purple goop, right?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, you're Vergil, and you're just fucking wee, like high timing, and like you're doing the grappling summon sword to just fly right over it and collect a bunch of orbs, and it's all a good time. You know, you're just like, oh yeah, this part was supposed to be
I wouldn't have had to do the goop if I was real Vergil.
Not even remotely, you know. You just grim grip over that bitch, and it ain't nothing. Or remember the part where it's a room where the spikes are coming from the walls, and you have to go high or low to get to the secret like areas or the secret blue blorb, and then you kind of make your pathway out, and you eventually get to the area where you can skateboard up. And do the whole big Tony Hawk section. So when you're playing as Vergil and you get dropped into the room where there's just spikes up the ass on every single wall and surface, it's like, that's cool. I'll just trick forever and be fine and get style for doing so.
Manual teleport at almost every direction. So
it's okay. Just do it, you know. And then so that's all fun. Fighting Urizen up in his face and just Beowulfing the shit out of him is great. You get to melt everything, but then of course the new content, you get to Dante, and Dante is fucking awesome, man. It is exactly what I was hoping it would be, which is basically an upgraded version of the Dante fight in 4SE.
Which, yeah.
So
Yep.
you get to the end of Bloody Palace in 4SE, and the man is up there waiting for you, and you're gonna have a bad time. And in this case, it's exactly that, and just the patterns are all there, but he's got the new move sets and he's got the new move list, and he's switching between them, and he's gonna do shit. He's gonna fuck you up. He's gonna switch styles, and you're gonna fight and do your best, and you're gonna have relatively a similar exchange to the rhythm of fighting Vergil, where it's like, okay, this is what he's gonna come in with, and he's got a couple of preset patterns, and a couple times he modifies them or switches into something else. Sometimes he'll extend a string, but for the most part,
Yeah, once you tag him, you can combo him for a little
you
while.
can combo him for a little bit, and then you break off, right? And then you can get your taunt in there, and then they re-engage. However, every once in a while, he'll be doing his gun trick, sword, gun trick, and doing his things, and you're like, yep, let's fight. And then he goes, Royal Guard, and you fucking stop. You
Don't
stop.
Don't
wait.
Don't look at him.
You walk. You look at the ground. You stare at your shoes. And he walks up to you. And then he goes, trickster. And you're like, all right, let's fight. But you 1000% treat that shit like a timeout. Because he goes, Royal! And you just, nope.
Does he just fucking, like, parry everything you send to him?
You fucking die. He will return it. If you're lucky, you will get a royal release that's not a perfect timed fucking just frame melter version. If you're trying to get cheeky and do some big attack on him or whatever, absolutely go fuck yourself. Just don't do it. And the PTSD kicks in because anyone who watched my run on Bloody Palace for 4SE remembers I got to the final floor. I got him down to maybe 10%. And a royal release just annihilated my anus. And that was the end of that. It was a healthy run. It's the furthest I've ever gotten. And boy, did I fucking make the mistake of swinging on him when you shouldn't have. So do not play the game when he says royal. You just you stare at your shoes and you walk around slowly, and then wait for it to go away. Which
Now, what about Dante 2?
Now Dante 2, same idea, except he's also going to SDT on your ass and come in with some SDT moves, which you should be familiar with and know, like, okay, well, just get the fuck away from it. You can answer with your own and just have a big old fucking, like, we're not flinching kind of battle. You know what I mean? Like, we're just gonna fucking go on each other and just, like, your life bar versus mine. But, it's a boss, so he has more. Generally speaking, it's not that elegant or nice to just sit in there and tank the hits and go at it. You want to back the fuck up, right? You wanna sit there and watch to see what he's going to do, because he SDTs, flies in at you, and then he'll do a couple things, right? He's got the wing projectiles, which you can evade. He's got the Psycho Crushers, and he actually goes into the final attack. I forgot its name, but the big combo,
Yeah, the huge combo that hits everywhere with a million swords.
Except it doesn't hit everywhere. It's a zone around him, just like Judgment Cut End.
Okay, it just felt like that when you used it.
When you use it, it feels like it goes everywhere. When he does it to you, it has a circle, and you can get away from it. And you actually see the circle when he activates it, like Judgment Cut End. So it's 1-to-1. It's the exact same type of answer. Just get the fuck out of the circle, and then be ready to answer with your own shit. What's interesting is the cutscenes that play out you guys have that first Dante 1 fight, and then you have the little back off, and then he's like, "Oh, so you fucking got your dick wet some time ago, huh?" And Virgil's like, "Yeah, you know." And then they line up, and then they fly at each other. And then Nero never stops them.
Yeah, the fight just keeps going.
So they just clash into each other and then past each other, and you go into phase 2. And the music kicks in, and it's the fucking a cappella version of Bury the Light. And you're just like, oh, it's so good because it's giving you the silver bullet answer, except in Bury the Light form. So it just it kicks right back in, and it's powerful. I believe Susie posted a little clip of exactly that moment, you know, and it just like, yes, man, absolutely.
Is there a final cutscene that's
there
different?
is. Yes, there is. So those things, those initial scenes that you get up to are pretty much the same. The fight you have the banter you have in battle is new. There's not a ton of it, but it is there. And of course, losing to Dante means Dante's shit talking you on the game over screen. So there's that. But once you get past him, once you beat him, then yeah, you get a new ending sequence, which is a mixture of old scenes and then some new stuff. So it weirdly kind of cuts because Dante loses, then he just kind of gets up and goes, "All right, well, see ya."
I'm watching it, and he just literally jumps off and goes, "Okay, bye."
Yeah, he does the thing where he says bye to Nero, except it's not to Nero, right? He just kind of walks off to you. And then Vergil gets up and then turns and says his final words to Nero, whose arm you can see from the side. So it's kind of like Nero showed up at the end, but he was just too late, I guess, or whatever. It was weirdly edited. Weirdly edited, but whatever. There it is, right? Then you get them in hell, and then you get further conversation between them in hell. So they end up talking about Dante calls out Vergil for crying in the corner every time mommy got mad. Yeah. And then Vergil calls out Dante for running away every time father raised his voice. So they both have their isms with opposite members of their parental lineage, right? And clearly there's a little thing there that's, like a whatever. They both, it's mother and father.
Dante was a mama's boy, and
Vergil was a daddy's boy. And they were terrified of the opposite parent, you know? Mother, father,
so I'm watching this ending cutscene, and the way that it's cut implies that, like, Nero's entire speech and hero moment at the end of that game was completely pointless.
It implies
they would not have killed each other.
It implies that if they won or lost, they would have both got up and have known instinctually, well, time to go kill the Qliphoth. And they would have jumped down to hell and done it anyway. So Nero shows up to get in the emotional way of what's going on, but he kind of didn't have to. If Vergil won. If Dante won, who's to say, right? Because Dante was, being all nice and cheeky, but it's possible he might have been like, because he was all like, let's finish this once and for all, or whatever, Vergil. But yeah, it plays out in such a way where if Vergil wins, they just go, all right, let's go beat it now, So yes, Shin dead weight. It's funny. So then, yeah, you get that conversation. Then you get the fight. They do the counts. And then you do the credit battle, and then you get the "don't you dare say it" jackpot, but then it
continues.
But it pulls back, and instead of it's not a reverse angle of the jackpot shot, but it goes further away, and it continues, and then Dante's like, "Hey, didn't you used to love saying jackpot all the time? That was your thing, And Virgil's just like, nah, so shut up though. You know,
Which is
and like,
extra stupid because you know he actually does it.
and you
If you
know
judgment
that
cut
he
in.
does it because if you perfectly time your 4 judgment cuts, the last one has him saying jackpot. He loves saying jackpot. He's the most tsundere fucking little bitch ever. He can't not love it, but he just doesn't want anyone to know, you know, and he
Have
still
you
says
seen
it.
have you seen his goddamn super taunt?
Yes. Ugh, how droll. His
His super
inner
taunt with his stand doing a
mhm.
fucking like caramel dance and like techno remix.
His fucking his DT ghost is cutting a rug and he hates it. So yeah,
It's cutting the
doppelganger.
rug like you would see in like a Nico Nico Doga
Hmm.
fucking like caramel dancing or like Gedon fucking dance video in someone's apartment.
I thought they were just gonna give him the animation of Dante's MJ scene, but yeah, no, not quite. And then the other thing, of course, being that I was hoping the whole time that like you would get to taunt and then the doppelganger would taunt with you, but it doesn't. But the reason why is because that's your fucking EX provocation, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah.
great. Um, Apparently, Itsuno did the dance in a video. What? Okay. Well, anyway. Oh, the left, right, left, right. Yes, yes. It's the left, right, left, right. He did that. It's true. And yeah. So you just get a little extension on the ending type of thing. It's not the reverse angle with that like would have been cool, but it still is just a little bit of extra context and whatever. And then they run on to go fight more demons, fight forever, cha cha cha.
It's kind of interesting because the way you're describing it and from what I just saw, it's like it's the new content is compatible with the existing story.
It still does
Like
work.
it's not some alternate universe and it's like I killed Dante and now I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to be king of hell or
Yeah.
whatever
No,
you
they
would use.
end up down there fighting forever anyway. The only difference is Nero was too slow and
Yeah.
didn't stop them. You know, I would have accepted an alternate take where Nero got in between them, but just got blown over because they were too strong and he just eats shit. But yeah, in this instance, you know, they again the conclusion ends up being the same, so it's compatible. Um, all in all, you know, got to go back through it, and I started a Bloody Palace run just to just to start warming up, and
Just for funsies.
well, that's the real test, because to me, like LDK is like in 4 as well. That was your like this is your familiarizer, and this is how you're gonna learn to deal with every type of enemy appropriately, maximize your tools, and like you're not gonna get through LDK. Well, you're not gonna get through LDK without understanding how to fight everything properly, unless you use items and shit. Which I'm saying like with not doing that. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, now the goal is to make the run through Bloody Palace honest, and when I have a nice feeling about that, I'm gonna take a crack at it. I'm gonna stream it. So we'll see, because I think I can beat it. I think I can beat it, just like I think I can beat 4. But it just it'll come down to those final rooms. But it'll be a nice little run. So we'll see how it goes. But right now, Vergil feels comfortable. I've gotten used to the new abilities, and I've gotten used to, like you can definitely play him like 4. You can just rely on old habits, um, to a degree like 3, but really 4 is the template. Um,
Hmm.
but like the new shit is like it would make your life so much harder to not use his new tools. So that's
Yeah.
the main thing about it, is just like you have to keep them in mind. Whereas Dante and Nero are like fucking completely different from the way they used to be in those in 4, So
Hmm.
you can go off of a basis of an understanding with them, but for the most part, it's a new character.
I can't wait to play it in 2.5, 3 weeks. I don't know. Ugh, on the 15th.
What are you waiting on?
Well, Vergil only comes out on PC in like
The
two
PC
weeks.
version. Right, okay.
Yeah, three
Uh,
weeks. 3 weeks.
so that is what's happening there. And of course, now that you unlock the EX color, which is the blue coat, I'll be wearing the blue coat
Oh, thank
indefinitely.
goodness.
I like the black coat makes sense because of V, and I understand that like you don't want to create visual confusion with Nero. So I
Yeah.
understand the decision, but I just don't like the look as much because the blue and yellow trim are not they're not just what I'm used to, but I like it as the opposite of Dante, you know? I really appreciate that, and the black just doesn't hit the same way. So yeah.